I wanted to start by recapping the entire system of functional range conditioning, or FRC, which is what Kinstretch is under. So this entire system that I use to program your guys' classes, that I use to coach, is called functional range conditioning, or the functional range systems. Kinstretch is the ability to coach this system in a group setting. So if you think of this like FRC would be personal training, and Kinstretch would be group classes like CrossFit. Okay, so in this environment, I don't have the luxury to be able to individually cater to each of you. So I need you guys to take onus of that and put yourselves in positions that feel best for you where you guys are at. Okay, this whole system focuses on getting yourself into wherever your range of motion is currently at, for whatever joint we are focusing on. Today we are focusing on the hips. We are also doing a hip kind of summary today. So we're gonna work internal rotation, external rotation. We're gonna work a little bit of flexion as well, and a little bit of extension. So really almost all of those points of the hip and the areas that we can move into, internal and external rotation, we'll be working in abduction today as well. Okay, so the only thing we're not doing today is getting adduction of all of this tissue in here. You'll still feel some stretches in there as well. So we're gonna take you guys, get you into your end ranges of motion. You're gonna feel what that feels like. I'm going to try my best to describe what I want you to be feeling, and we can get into those positions by shifting our torso, rolling our hips under, moving ourselves forward, adding a block, all of these things to get us into our greatest range of motion. Once we are there, we work through something called pails and rails, which is basically working your tissue that's on stretch, increasing slowly and progressively the tension and the pressure of that stretch, and then working the reverse side of the range of motion to see if we actually have the muscle to pull ourselves into that range of motion. Okay, so that's what pails and rails stands for. We think of it as like a bell curve, where we're working this side of our range of motion. We're trying to open up the bell curve of our range of motion, and we work this side for rails to open up that side. So now we have access to more range of motion. We have access to more tissue. Then we use things like hovers and liftoffs to show that you guys have control of this newfound expanded range of motion. We work eccentrics to show that you have strength throughout those ranges of motion. Okay, so all of this stuff is basically there to allow you guys to feel a range of motion, improve the range of motion, and then strength train in that newfound range. All right, this goes for anything that you guys should be feeling on a general daily basis in here. If you guys have tight shoulders, if you have knees that bug you, things that we should do is work to the end range of motion, allow yourself to feel what that feels like, so allowing the brain to kind of release more range, and then working through that range to show your body that, oh, I do have range of motion here, I do have control of the range of motion, so you can utilize it when you're not so focused on it. Does that make sense? It's not a passive activity. A lot of things, a lot of mobility practices, a lot of flexibility practices are passive. Grabbing a foam roller, rolling out passively, sitting in a stretch for a long period of time. We don't do anything in here passively, okay? We don't do life in passive ranges of motion. We actively have to move through them. So it's the same exact thing that we try to have you guys focus on here, is actively gaining mobility so you have the ability to use it outside of here. Fair enough? Like I said, we're working hips, a very good summary of the hip, because next week we're going to flip-flop. So your guys' Thursdays are gonna be lower body, your Sundays are gonna be upper body. So if you're only able to make it one of the days, at least you guys will be getting some of a newfound range of motion for upper body or lower body, okay? You do still have access to the Thursday classes if you're not able to make them live. I know it's in the morning, I know it's at a weird time, but you do always have access to them via a link. So I highly suggest, if you guys enjoy doing the lower body stuff, you should continue to do lower body stuff, even though we're not doing it on Sundays. All right? We're gonna start this with our ankles. We'll move into tibia, we'll move into hips. doing our cars to allow our brain to understand that we are now starting to train, and then we're going to get right into it. Okay, so go ahead and stand yourself up. We're going to actually use your box as a little bit of a balance maker. Bring your left leg straight up, and we're going to work the left ankle. So I'm going to hold my leg straight up, allowing myself to kind of balance up against the box, pointing my toe down. Now, when you guys do your ankle circles, I don't want any movement from the knee. I don't want any movement from the hip. So we point the toe, and we start bringing it in a clockwise direction, pulling into each tiny little pocket of a circle. Remember, CAR stands for controlled articular rotation, so it needs to be controlled and smooth. I want you guys doing 5 repetitions here. Slow and steady. Try your best not to get any movement from the knee, from the shin turning side to side, or from the hip. I'm okay with toes moving in this. That's all right. 5 each direction, and then go ahead and just switch legs. Every circle, trying to get more and more space. Try to really reach into each of those little pockets of the circle. Got some summer vibe music going on for you guys today. Some of it looks like a nice circle. A little bit. Yeah, that's what Ken was kind of saying. He was like, it's good, and then it just drops and moves to the right. We will get there. You get half a circle. Yeah, like a D, exactly. Aiming for circles, right? Every time, aiming for circles, trying to get more. We're always going to have more kind of inversion than we do eversion. So the outside of that circle is always going to be harder. It's the same with the wrists. You guys can think of your body kind of in reverse. So your fingers are like your toes, your wrists are like your ankles, your elbows are like your knees. It's a very similar process and a very similar range of motion from one area of the body to the next. Did you guys all do 5 on each side? Okay, cool. Wait for others to kind of finish up. We're going to do tibia. This is the hard one to feel for a lot of people. So this is really trying to get that shin. Don't kneel. I'm just showing you. Okay. This is trying to get the shin to move out and to move in without the thigh moving. It's the same thing as the ankles. We typically have more range on the way out than we do on the way in. I like to say this is like someone trying just to like give you an Indian burn. That kind of helps me think of like, okay, I'm trying to turn this entire thing, not just turning my ankle, right? So what we're aiming to do is I'm gonna bring my leg up and I'm gonna try to turn my foot, but I want you to feel all of this tissue on the outside of the shin fire up. So I'm squeezing into that. You can hold on to the box, and then I'm gonna straighten my leg. I'm gonna turn my tibia in, and I'm gonna bend my leg, trying to keep your thigh at about 90. So we're trying to get a little bit of hip flexion in there. Turn the foot out, straighten, turn the foot in, try to squeeze onto this inside calf, and bend. Give me one more. Foot out, up, foot in, bend. Keep your foot in. Go up, foot out, bend. In, up, out, bend. One more, turn it in, up, out, bend. We'll kind of revisit this range and revisit this movement in our training today. So kind of get used to it, all right? Same thing, opposite side. Again, starting with that foot facing out. Watch your thigh so we're not bending the knee out and opening the hip. We're just trying to bend at the knee. Bring the foot in and bring it back in. You can think of this as knee cars, 3 on each side or 3 in each direction, because your knee is flexing and extending, and it's also rotating as much as it can, as much as it has the ability to. Good job, guys. Anyone's hip flexors fire up there? Mine did too. I'm excited to train those today. They definitely feel sticky and not loose. Good. The more that you guys done that, so those that have been coming to Kinstretch more often, do you guys kind of feel that a little bit more? It's a hard thing to grasp, but it's the same as everything else. If you do more repetitions of it, if you try to move it more, it will get easier and you'll actually start to feel that stuff. We're gonna do standing hip cars since we're already standing, and then we're gonna move down, do quadruped hip cars, and we'll get into our training. So I only want us doing 2 hip cars on each side. The first one, I want you following me just because I always like to over-explain the hip car to make sure you understand what's happening and you're not just like bringing your body around and up, right? There's a lot that goes into this. We're trying to hit every single pocket of this car. So whatever side you guys are standing on, just support yourself by putting some fingertips on the box. You can even put your block up if you need a little bit more height. I want your outside leg to cross over and show me as much of your arch as you possibly can. This is adduction, and then I'm turning my hip into external rotation. My hip is rolled out, okay? This is our first movement of the car. Can we actually get our leg to cross over our body and to externally rotate? Yes? Cool. Knee is now going to go up as much as we possibly can, keeping the arch facing me. It still stays adducted, so the foot still stays across the body. What I want you, stay here. What I don't want you to do is lean back or bend your other knee. Everyone there? Everyone in pain? Okay, cool. We're gonna bring the knee out to the side now. Watch this hip to make sure it doesn't follow. So as soon as you start to feel that hip follow, stop. The knee stays up, foot stays up, hip stays externally rotated. Here's where we move into internal rotation. So my knee stays in place, foot reaches to the wall back behind me, and that is internal rotation. Continue to move the knee back. My foot is continually lifting now. So as my knee goes out to the side, my foot is lifting. Knee is gonna come back, around, and in. So now we're hitting that abduction, the extension, and the full internal rotation. Does that make sense? Now we have to work hip extension again. So knee goes back. I don't let my opposite leg bend. I don't let my low back compensate. Knee's gonna start to reach out to the outside. Keep your foot high. Trying to get myself back into that pose, keeping my knee and ankle at the same height. Knee is gonna come around. Foot wraps around, I bring myself around to the inside, and I bring my arch back down to the ground, and I'm back in that start position. Does anybody have any points where you're like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do here?
You're actually crossing.
Yep, I'm adducting as much as I can, starting here. Make sense? This, from here to here, is almost always where things go wrong. Once that hip comes out, this is usually what you see. Yeah, so like a lean forward, a bend of the knee, an arch of the back. It should be knee out, foot rolls that way as much as I can till I feel this guy fire up, and then I'm just trying to move my ankle to be as high as my knee continually moves backwards. Does that make sense? Give me 2 more on that side. Then you guys will turn and you'll give me 2 on the other side.
So if I'm stuck here, that's just
That's it. Yep, can you get your knee up any higher? There we go. All right, so keep that hip flexion. Keep it up, there you go. As you bring that leg into internal rotation. Hurts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And the knee goes back, continue to lift that foot. Continue to bring the hip in and back down. Good deal? It shouldn't be comfortable once your leg is out to the side. I should see some grimacing faces. I should see some like people grab the block a little harder, grab your rig a little harder. We're trying to increase the space. You're trying to show your body that you have control in that space. Remember to switch sides. Give me 2 on that opposite side. As you guys are going through this, does anybody have any hard times once we're moving? Everyone all right? Cool. That pinchiness as your guys' leg goes back is your capsule rolling into a space that we don't have any more space of. Okay, so as that hip capsule moves in and we just don't have any more space, we have to create more space. It's not the sense that your bone is hitting bone, it's bone hitting an area that we have never gone into, that we have yet to show our nervous system that we have a little bit more room. Make sense? Cool. Keep going. Hip cars should take a little bit of time. We're going to skip our quadruped hip cars because I want to get into training. I'm going to give you guys 40 minutes. I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing. Good job, guys. What's that? Continue to finish your cars. We're going to start with rotation. Okay, this practice always starts with rotation unless we're working the spine. Rotation is your easiest way to communicate from your joint into your central nervous system, okay? Because the joint expresses itself through rotation. If we don't have rotation, we always overcompensate in another way. If we open up rotation, everything else is less overcompensated. All right, so we're gonna start by working internal rotation of the hip, then we'll move to external rotation of the hip. Internal is usually the more uncomfortable one. Okay? Some people have great internal rotation. Some people don't have a hard time with this, but almost always the people that have an easy time with internal rotation have a hard time with external, or vice versa. If you have a hard time with internal, usually external is a little bit easier, and if not, then your hip is just doing this and we're never getting any rotation, and that needs to be fixed. Okay? So we're gonna utilize our block. Start with your left leg. And I'm going to bring my leg out to the side with my knee and ankle up on the block, or on the box. So what I'm trying to do is just draw a straight line with my shin.
Should this be a stretch?
Not yet. Not yet. I'll get you into a stretch.
So this is where I just didn't know if I need to go higher.
Yes. You won't have to go higher. Okay? So we are thinking this is abduction. So I just brought my hip out away from my body. It requires a little bit of internal rotation to get up here as well. To further internally rotate my hip, or just like we did with the tibia, grab onto the thigh and roll it in, we need lift of the back leg. So what I'm going to do with my block is I'm going to bring my leg up onto some area where I don't have to lean away from. So for me, I can bring it up into this, not the tallest one, but the half setting. And then I'm actually gonna roll my hips in like a hollow rock, lean my body further away, and now I should really feel this in this hip capsule. Does everybody feel that? Bring it away from the box, or bring it out in front of you. But this is where we need that. If I move my torso away, if I roll my hips, if I bend my knee, how can we find where this stretches? This is bowing the stretch. This is where We can twist our body. I can even turn this way and I'd be like, holy shit, that made things way worse. Yes? Everybody feel this in this little orby area right here. Okay, if you feel it in the knee, point your toes. Okay, get like the top of your foot on that block. We all right? That's fine, go ahead. From this position, so I'm gonna like bring my body, face my torso into that knee that's on the block. We're gonna do a set of pails and rails here. So I'm gonna push my knee and my ankle down into this box. I'm gonna keep this position. I can even grab onto my thigh. We'll push down as hard as we can, but whatever feels safe and comfortable-ish for us. And then I'm gonna try to lift my ankle off the box without turning my torso. Does this? Yes, nothing will happen, okay? This is increasing the stretch, pails, and then when I ask you to lift your ankle, that is rails. Does this make sense to everybody? Okay, we can turn, you can put your hand on your thigh if you're able to. Slow and steady, start to push the knee and the ankle down into the objects that they're sitting on. Let's focus now on that knee that's on the box. Push down with the knee a little bit harder. Give me about 40% of the pressure that your body can make. As we get up to about 60%, we're pushing on a scale, we're stepping on that scale. I want you to start to use the rest of your body to create more tension. Squeeze your shoulders, squeeze the outside quad. We should be at about 80%. Thinking 81%, 82, 83. Push down harder. Give me more pressure. 100% as hard as you can push down with the knee and the ankle, go. Continue to rotate that torso if you can. Lean in, make it harder, keep holding, keep that same 100% pressure. 3, 2, 1, try to lift the ankle. Don't change position of the torso. We're trying to lift that ankle off the box. Lean your torso in, lift, get more height. Lessen the load that's being pushed into the block. Give me 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. Turn towards me. Take that block out. Everyone okay? My puberty voice coming in. Everyone okay? We good? Take a breath. Just by moving that body this way, okay, we should have a little more space. By dropping that ankle down a little bit, we should have a little more space. What I'm going to ask you to do now is push that knee into the block, into the box, and I'm going to try to lift my ankle. Okay, so I'm trying to think that my hip is rolling in, which will lift my ankle, not me moving my body forward to lift the ankle. Does that make sense? So squeeze onto that tissue that you just tried to use for rails. Try to roll that hip in, and we're going to lift the foot. Ready? And go. Lift. 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 Relax. Keep your torso up. Try not to lean anyway. Squeeze your abs. Squeeze your outside quad. And lift. Lift. Get that foot up higher. Relax. Good. And lift. Relax. And lift. Just wait. Relax. Good. Lift. Yes. Relax. Good, guys. Lift. There you go. Relax. Lift. Relax. Lift. Relax. One more. Lift. Relax. Stay in that position unless you have to move to get your band. Be careful when you guys get your leg down. If you do have to get your leg down, it feels very weird. I know. I literally got off my box and I was like, lift. I was like, oh my God. My whole leg gave out. Okay, taking the band, put it around your foot. Not your ankle, your foot. Grab the band over the left shoulder to give us a little bit of tension. And I'm going to lift. This is passive range of motion. you can notice I have way more passive range of motion than I do active, correct? When I tried to lift off, my foot was not this high, right? Okay, what we're going to do is keep us in passive range of motion, so I'm pulling up, and then I'm gonna fight my foot and the band to get down to the box. So I'm gonna squeeze, and I'm gonna try to get that arch back down to the box. And then we'll slowly bring it back up against the resistance of the band, and then we'll go again. Slowly let it come back up, and we'll go again. Does that make sense? We have 8 repetitions here, so give yourself decent amount of tension. No, those don't count. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back up 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And down. 2, 3, 4, 5. And up. 2, 3, 4, 5. And down. 2, 3, 4, 5. And up. 2, 3, 4, 5. And down. 2, 3, 4, 5. And up. 2, 3, 4, 5. And down. 2, 3, 4, 5. And up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. Take your band out and take your leg off your box. Take a couple steps, walk around a little bit, and it feels very strange. Doesn't that feel weird? Shift sides, move around. Mine feels worked. That's what mine feels like. Like I just did a shit ton of air squats.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how I woke up feeling.
Oh, like tired on that side?
Both sides.
Mm-hmm. Moving to the opposite side, remember we are an asymmetrical species. We are one side dominant, one side non-dominant. So if you do have a difference from side to side, it's totally understandable. It's totally okay. Good? We good? Yes, ma'am. So for liftoffs, we need to be able to have more range to get to our end of active range of motion. Okay, so anytime that I ask for liftoffs, passively, remember, I could get myself like all the way up here. So we train pails and rails in that passive state where I'm trying to get into my actual end range. But if I'm at end range, I can't move any further, especially if I'm asking your body to be the thing that's moving, right? So we take ourselves out, usually it's about 10 to 15 degrees, and then we ask our body to move. If we have to go further than that 10 to 15 degrees, that means the gap between our passive range of motion and active range of motion is too big. So this usually is seen with people that do yoga and sit in passive like holds or passive stretches. Their passive capabilities completely outweigh their actual active range of motion, right? And that space is a very scary thing because that usually is where injuries happen, is where they have the ability to get pulled into this position, but it's through if it's through an active force, everything, we break. We don't want that. All right, so we're back into that range of motion. Remember, we're trying to do pails and rails, so we're trying to get that ankle up. What I'm aiming for here, so I'm really trying to get this hip as internally rotated as possible. So again, you can jump your foot forward, you can jump it out to the side, you can roll your hips, you can twist towards. This almost always gets me into my end range, where if I rotate this way and my hip is rolled in, I'm like, there's no way I can move this from this position. Okay, same thing if we feel this too much in the knee, just go ahead and straighten your foot, and you can put the top of your foot on the block. That usually will allow the tibia to rotate and not put force on the knee. Are we ready for pails and rails? Yes, Mike? No, my first concern is getting you into as much internal rotation as possible. So if, I don't know, you can't really see me right now, I'm actually in front of my block. So my leg is back behind me, it's just a slightly different angle, right? So I don't really care if like one knee is equal to the other. I care, how can we get this hip into as much internal rotation as possible, all right? And for me, it's twisting towards, pulling my torso forward, and holding into this position. We're going to slow and steady start our pales contraction. So I'm pushing down with this back foot, pushing down with my back knee, squeezing that at about 25%, thinking that everything is on a scale and we're slowly pushing harder into the scale. Give me 40%. Roll those hips under a little harder. Give me 50%. Pull the chest a little bit more forward. 70%. Squeeze quads, squeeze shoulders, 80%. Every single part of your body is tight. Squeeze your abs, squeeze your shoulders, squeeze your legs, push down as hard as you can. Go. 100%. Drive. Lean forward. Push that ankle down. Push that knee down. Lean into the side. Rotate. Very good, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, don't change positions, lift the ankle. Keep trying to lift the ankle. Watch your foot lift off that box. Now give me more space with the ankle. Lean in harder if you want to. Good, guys. Keep lifting, keep lifting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. Nix the box, get rid of it. Block, block, box, band. I did this to myself with all of your guys' tools today. The box, the band, the block, the band. All right, 8 liftoffs. Remember, if we are in that end range of motion and I'm this way, I can't lift my ankle. If I turn my torso this way, I can lift. We're thinking that same contraction we just tried for rails, trying to pull the hip further into my body, squeezing my glutes, and lift the ankle. Go. Relax. Go. Relax. It wasn't that hard. Go. Relax. Good. Go. Relax. Go. Relax. Go. Relax. Go. Relax. 2 more. Go. Relax. Go. Relax. Band City, eccentrics. Remember to wrap this thing around the foot for your lift. Isn't that kind of cool though when you're like, what? Your like whole leg lifts up and you're like, oh my God, that's a lot of range of motion. Okay? What we're trying to do is pull us into that passive range, whatever that may be. And then I'm slowly trying to get that knee or that foot to start reaching down towards the ground, and then we're controlling it back up. Okay, this is the beauty of the band because we get resistance that way and we get resistance this way. Everybody in that end range? Slow and steady, start to push into the band. Give me 5 seconds down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down. 2, 3, 4, 5, and up. 2, 3, 4, 5, and down. 2, 3, 4, 5, and up. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more. Down. 2, 3, 4, 5, and up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up. 2, 3, 4, 5, get rid of the band and walk around a little bit. Right? You're ready to dance now. Even with my counting. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah! Feels nice? Now we're going to move into external. Okay, so not only will we work this way, now we're going to work this way. So if we're really high for internal, we may be very low for external. We might be even. We'll see. I'm not sure. So what we're going to aim to do here is do almost like a pigeon pose. Okay, so I'm going to get my leg up on the box. But what I want us doing, so once, I guess I'll turn towards the box so you guys can see me. My left leg is up on the box. My right leg is down. Okay, I have a little bit more external rotation than this. I actually don't feel much stretch in my external rotation. I feel it mostly in this like front part of my hip. So for me, I'm going to take this back leg and I'm actually going to step it towards the left. So I'm taking my leg, stepping it towards the left and keeping my hips forward and keeping my shoulders forward. That should make the stretch a little worse. If I roll my hips underneath, so if I take them from being extended to rolling my hips under, I feel that more in my capsule. If I need more external rotation, I can take my box. Oh, I for sure don't need more, but I can take my block and put it underneath my ankle. For me, this is not necessary because I had to like literally pry my foot up off the box to get it to fit up on the block. Okay? We can play around with this leg that's hopped up and over. If I bend that knee a little bit more and roll my hips under, I really start to feel this completely in this butt cheek. Make sense? Okay. If we have somewhat poor external rotation and we're here, give yourself a block so we can feel more, so we can push better. Okay, having more access to things that you can press against helps your nervous system. Everybody ready for pails and rails? You can lean the hips over to the left more. You can roll your chest towards the right. Increase that stretch. We're going to start pushing the ankle and the knee down into the box at 20%. As we continue to ramp up, go ahead and just ramp yourselves up very slow, very steady. When we get to rails, we have to think that we're trying to pull ourselves into external rotation. So I'm trying to lift first my foot, then my ankle, then my shin. Everything this way. Whoop. Okay? Should be somewhere around 60% for that pails contraction. Keep those hips rounded. Keep that foot tucked to the left. Give me 80%. Squeeze your shoulders, squeeze your abs, squeeze that quad of the ground or the leg that's on the ground. Everything you got, drive your knee and ankle down 100%, go. Push. If I came around and checked your guys' foot and ankle, I should feel pressure against it. I shouldn't be able to pry it off your box. Push harder. Give me more pressure. 3, 2, 1, knee down. Try to lift the ankle up. If the ankle comes up, if the foot comes up, try to lift the shin up. Everything's planting the knee and trying to pry that leg off the box. Lift it more. Don't change the position of your body. Keep the same position. 3, 2, 1, relax. Keep your leg up, unless you have to get your band. We have passive range holds now, okay? So what I'm going to aim to do, asking your leg to come up into this position, I can like barely lift my foot. I can kind of feel my ankle lifting off the box. But what we're going to do, instead of just relying on my active mobility to lift my foot, I'm going to take a double band. I'm going to wrap it around my foot. Wrap it around your ankle. Wrap it around your ankle. And then we're going to lift like this. Okay? I'm going to try to keep your knee on the box. I was just turning to show you guys. Here. All right. like this. Everyone see that? Okay, doesn't want to move, put your block under your knee. Give it a little more space. Okay? From here, what I'm aiming to do is not rely on the band to get this lift. So I'm trying to squeeze my foot up as much as I can, and then I'm just going to drop my band, hold 2, 3, and then pick my foot back up. Does that make sense? So I'm trying my best to keep my foot in this position without the use of the band. What's going to happen is as soon as I start dropping the band, my foot is going to drop also. But I'm aiming to try to lift this foot up to my face. Does everybody have a sense of what I'm trying to tell you to do? Lifting my foot up, trying to squeeze the foot up, and then I'm allowing the band to relax so my leg can take over in the contraction. Did you try, then move the height down? Keep moving down, keep moving down. You can even move to the side of your box too, kind of like I am. So my right leg is against the box. My left leg is up on top. Yep, Megan, you got it. And then put your box or your block under your knee. So then I actually have the space to the side of my block to let my foot fall. We'll find the position, don't worry. You'll also find where you suck, right? Very quickly. So, this, passive range of motion. Active range of motion. Passive, active. Does that make sense? If this is passive and this is active and you're trying to keep your foot up, you guys are getting the same intent that I was just showing. Okay? Are we ready? We have 6 of these. Lift your foot up as high as it'll go. Squeeze onto that pressure. Try to get your foot to kiss your face. It's not going to happen. And slowly start to let go of the band until it comes off your shin. Squeeze your foot up. Try to reach up, 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 up. And now let the band take over again. Squeeze foot up. Slowly let go of the band until it fully comes off your shin. Squeeze and lift. Slowly let go of the band. Get it off the foot. Squeeze, hold, and lift. Slowly let go of the band. Keep squeezing the foot up and lift. Now do you feel it? Yeah. Okay. Slowly let go of the band. Let the foot kind of slowly come down. Keep squeezing it up to try to get it up to the face and lift. Squeeze and let go of the band and relax. We're going to switch sides, but let's have a quick little chat here, okay? All right. External rotation is extremely important to squat. If you don't have external rotation, you get rotation from other areas of the body, the knees, the ankles, and the feet, okay? If your knee is acting like a hip, it can only do that for so long until it's like, yo, I'm not a hip, and shit happens, okay? Things start to shear, you start to get pain, you start to get inflammation, because this should act like a knee, and this should act like a hip. If we only have expression of one of those ranges of motion and we don't have expression of the other, overcompensations happen. Does that make sense? Most of you didn't have a hard time in pails and rails. You guys were like, yeah, this is easy, and you're like all the way up super high, right? That's passive range of motion. It's not a bad thing. So if we're like all the way up here and you're like, okay, yes, I feel a stretch in my hip, I'm gonna work my pails and rails contraction, and then I ask you to lift your leg and you're like, oh, I can't. Oh, I can't. Oh, I can't. That's just what we were talking about before between that passive range of motion and the active range of motion. So if we only work external rotation of your hips being in a bear pose or a butterfly pose and we don't actually feel like this is your end range of motion for external rotation, you will never have this inflection, which is the bottom of my squat. Does that make sense? So it's not a bad thing to lower your box height for your liftoffs, okay, or for your passive range holds. It's a good thing showing yourself like, okay, we need to close this gap somehow. And we don't fake it, we have to bring the box down so we actually can get it. Yes? All right, let's go ahead and go to pails and rails. So again, getting that foot up on the box, the right leg is going this time. Shoulders are facing the box, shin is facing relatively parallel to my shoulders, and then I'm taking that left leg and I'm bouncing it over to the right side. Same thing here, I'm gonna roll my hips, which should give me a pretty good contraction. I can lean my chest forward. I can bend this knee that's on the ground, and I should feel some pretty good contractions in that hip being able to externally rotate. Put your block on the ground and kneel on the block with your off leg. Does that make sense? No. Okay, I got you. So chill up there, get yourself into a stretch so we can kind of get other people into better positions. I'm just making a nice little shelf for you. So here, let's go that way. Yeah, let's see if you kneel on this. Well, put your leg up first.
There's no way.
Okay.
Nope.
Give me this block.
You have very high expectations. No. Nope.
Okay, grab your box. Grab your box. So put your box down, stand on the box. No, like here. Yeah, there you go.
Stand on the box.
Mm-hmm. Put your leg down. This is how we work around this, right? Go ahead and start, bring yourself down. You can bring this foot back if you need to. There you go. Yes. That's it. I'll give you a little bit more of a position.
My knee's not going to go down.
I got you. That's okay.
Okay.
What's this?
I'm trusting you right now.
I got you. Got you. I'm here for you if you need it. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Probably even do that on the ground. I'm bringing you another block. Anybody have another block Tamara can borrow? No, I'm kidding.
Can I have all the blocks?
But this, everybody remember how high Tamara's block was for internal rotation?
Yeah, this sucks.
Huge gap between internal and external rotation. But we have to think of like, not like I'm really bad at this. We have to think I have a very big gap between internal and external rotation. So when I'm working my hips in my own spare time, I should probably spend most of my time increasing external rotation. Yes? Slow and steady, let's start to push everything into the box. Ankle in, knee in, give me about 20%. There you go. Somewhere upwards around 50% now. Give me about 70%. Let's hop this leg towards me a little bit more. There you go. Yeah. Squeezing abs, squeezing quads, squeezing shoulders, and go, 100%. Whatever you guys got, we're thinking to drive the knee down Push the foot down, holding this for a good 15 seconds. Let the cells understand that you guys are trying to improve them. You're trying to improve space. 3, 2, 1, try to lift the ankle. Try to lift the foot. Keep the knee down. If the foot comes up, give me shin. Lift your shin. Keep driving the knee down. Good, yes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. I'll come out of it. Here, use my hand. There we go. I got her.
Oh my God. Thank you. That was...
Woo, woo. Grab your band. Bring yourself out. Bring yourself out of your full end range of motion. So this is what I want you doing, is bringing the like knee here and then trying to like give some lift here. Yeah. So we can even like put that leg down, but at least it'll have a little bit of space. Okay. Right. Breathe. Take some nice cool air into the lungs. We have to be able to lift the ankle. Okay, so just like I showed Tamara, I was like, you can literally just have your knee chilling on the side here and use this as kind of like a fulcrum point, I guess you could say, right? So as your knee is kind of sit here and I have the band around my foot or my ankle, I'm literally just lifting. But for some of you, that might be here. I'm trying to keep the foot off of the box. I'm trying to squeeze into it, and then we'll grab back on with the band. Okay, for some of us, we'll be here. All right, squeezing into it. Are you ready? Hold up and let go until the band starts coming down, until your foot comes off the band. Lift it up. And let it go. Let it drop. Keep squeezing the foot up to the face. Keep reaching up. Very good, guys. And relax. Lift it up. Squeeze the foot to the face. And lift it back up. Good. 2 more. Let it go. Let the band come off the foot. Keep squeezing the foot up to the face. Lift it back up. Last one. Squeeze foot up to the face. Let it go. And relax. Good job, guys. Good work. That was rough, huh? Doing very good. We're going to work a little bit of hip extension and a little bit of flexion in our last 5 minutes. Okay? Everyone feel all right? External rotation always like flares up my butt. It always gets my glutes squeezing. Good? Everyone okay? You can breathe? Hip extension. We're just going to do a lunging pails and rails. I'm going to get my box kind of out of the way for you. Thinking almost like a split jerk position, if you will. So left leg is going to go, wait, did we just work right side? Right side forward, left side back. So what I'm trying to do is I'm focusing on this left hip back behind me. Okay? This is back extension. So if I'm reaching back with my butt, I have to roll my hips under. Little bit of bend in the back knee. And I should now feel this stretch down my quad. Okay, if I keep my hips rolled under and I kind of take a step further out with my front foot, I should feel that a little bit more. I can almost like sink my hips forward slightly. Everybody feel that back here? Pails, I'm going to start to pull this front foot back and I'm going to start to reach my back thigh forward as if I'm trying to squeeze my feet together. Okay? Keep those hips tucked underneath. Now this is the tough one for rails. I have to try to pull myself into extension, but I don't want back extension. So you guys have to think to keep the hips rolled under. My front foot is reaching out in front of me, and I'm actually trying to drive this leg straight. Okay, but you have to keep this hip under. So I'm trying to straighten my leg in the rails contraction, almost as if you're trying to spread your feet further apart. Make sense? All right, get yourself into that position. Again, little bend in the back knee. You can keep your foot down if you want, if that's more comfortable. Rolling the hips underneath, trying to feel this leg start to stretch in the hip. Yes. Slow and steady. Start to pull the front foot in towards your body. Start to reach the back thigh forward. Give me about 20%. Should feel things like hamstrings here, hip flexors, abs maybe. Let's go a little harder. Back thigh pulling forward to the wall in front of you. Pulling that back foot back. Give me about 50% of the pressure you can make. Squeeze abs more. Roll hips under more. 75%. 100% go. Pull that back foot back. Drive that front thigh forward. Squeeze. Push your feet into the ground. Drive that back thigh. Really think to push that thing forward. Keep your hips underneath you. 3, 2, 1. Try to straighten your back leg, squeezing onto that back butt cheek. Keep your hips rolled under, trying to extend the back knee. Everybody feel that increased attention more here. Good. Keep trying to straighten the leg. Keep trying to roll the hip under harder. Keep going. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Switch sides. Doing good. This should take place over the runner's stretch. If you guys do this before running, you should do a pails and rails contraction, maybe not 100%, but you should do this to open up space rather than just sitting in a couch stretch or sitting and like doing this. That is not going to do anything. This will do a lot more. All right? Getting that back leg set, bend the back knee, pull that front thigh forward, squeeze the front foot back, give me about 20% pressure. Everything trying to squeeze together, pinching everything together. Give me 50%. Let's squeeze abs a little bit. Let's squeeze shoulders, 75%. Really think about that back thigh pulling to the wall in front of you. Everything tight and strong, 100%, go. Back thigh pulling forward. Front heel pulling back. Trying to scrunch up your mat. Good, guys, good. Squeeze. Keep the hips rolled under. 3, 2, 1. Try to straighten the back leg while you keep rolling your hips underneath. Good. Hips roll under harder. Try to straighten that back leg more. Very good. Squeeze onto the back butt cheek. Keep driving. Keep pushing. Spread apart the mat. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Good job, guys. Last but not least, hip flexion. Bringing the leg up. Bringing my body forward. Rolling my hips under. Giving my pants space so I don't rip them. Okay. My leg is up in pretty extreme flexion here. Okay, the things that cheat flexion is body leaning back to try to get more space or bending this back knee. If I straighten the back knee and I lean forward, as I try to lift this whole foot off the box, nothing should happen. If I cheat and I move my body, I'm going to be able to get more height. Does that make sense? So I'm leaning torso forward. I'm thinking belly button to the wall in front of me. And I should feel this kind of like, I should feel a stretch in the back side, but usually you're going to feel it in the front hip. Everybody feel that in some capacity? Put your hands on the box and give me a quick little check while keeping the chest up that you're not able to lift your foot. not able to lift your foot. Okay. Okay, cool. Pails, pushing your foot into the box, pulling your chest forward. Rails, lifting this shin directly up off the box, not out in front. Ready? Slow and steady, start to push the foot into the box at about 20%. You can squeeze the leg that's on the ground a little bit harder. Give me about 50%. Keep pushing down on the box. Keep pulling the chest up. Give me about 70% of the pressure that you can, pushing into the box. Squeeze abs, squeeze shoulders, squeeze legs, and go as hard as you can push into the box. Go, 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 go. Push, 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 push down. Drive the foot into the box. Keep driving. Keep pushing. 3, 2, 1. Try to lift the knee up. Go. Try to lift the foot straight up. Don't let the body lean back. Just trying to lighten the load that you're pushing into the box. Good, guys. Keep lifting. Keep lifting. 3, 2, 1. Relax.
Okay.
Your leg is out a little bit more than I want. Keep that foot up. From this position, okay, I'm going to back my leg up. I should now have more hip flexion. Okay, so if I back my leg up more, I should be able to lift. Everyone at a spot where they can lift the leg. What I'm going to ask you guys to do is lift the leg and give me 2 tibial cars, each direction without the heel hitting the box.
Big ass.
Then we can set it back down. Yeah? Okay, ready?
Sure.
On my count. And lift. Extend the leg. Turn the foot out. Bend. Turn the foot in. Extend. Turn the foot out. Bend. Turn the foot in. Extend. Turn it out. Bend. Turn it in. Extend. Turn it out. Bend. Turn it in. Extend. Turn it out. Bend. Relax. I went so fast, you guys. That was so fast. Switch sides. Pails and rails. Tibial cars. And then we're done. Getting yourself into your end range. So foot is on the box. I need you guys to lean in, roll your hips under so we can get that leg up as high as we can up against that chest. Slow and steady. Start to push the foot into the box at about 20%. Does it feel different? Better?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Give me about 60%. Roll those hips under a little bit more, Ken. That's it. Feel that more? Cool. Squeeze shoulders. Squeeze abs. Should be around 70%. Remember, keep that belly button reaching forward so that chest should stay tall. Lean the whole torso forward if you need to. Push down 100%. Let's go. Everything pushing into the box. Drive that foot. Leave your footprint in the box. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift the knee to the chest. Lean in more. Decrease that space between your thigh and your torso. Try to lift the heel off the box. Try to lift the whole foot up. Bring the knee forward. Keep your hips rolled under. Keep the chest up, chest up, chest up. That's it, that's it. 3, 2, 1, relax. Oh. Tibial cars. All right. Keep your leg up. Back that foot up and lifting. We ready? Knee lifts up off the box. Extend the leg. Roll the foot out. Bend. Roll the foot in. Extend. Out. Bend. In. Extend. Out. Bend. Keep it out. Extend. In. Bend. Out. Extend. In. Bend. Out. Extend. Relax. Good job, guys. We have sufficiently worked the full array of the hip. Nice job.